Hello. In this first experiment, I'm trying to look at the impact of minerality on brewing tea. And like we had in the previous segment, the best would be water with very low TDS, or very low minerality, super low. And the worst would be with a very high, because then the tea will not be able to really diffuse into the water, and it will be mixing up with a lot of other different minerals, and you not get the right result. So what I did for this example, I took one of my favorite teas, which you see here, which is a Gardenia Oolong from the Phoenix Mountains in China. And the reason I've chosen that tea is because it gives a very nice color. It has a very nice fruity taste. So for that experiment, it's quite good, because from all the elements which are going into tea, and there's over 400 different chemical compounds which are being diffused in water when you're brewing tea, and they all vary depending on the temperature, on the amount of tea you use, and certainly they depend also on the quality of water. But for this experiment, I left all the different variables at the same level. The only thing which I changed is the type of water which I used. But I brewed it at about 2 minutes. It's a very quick brewing tea, because it's a very strong, very processed tea. And I used it exactly at the boiling temperature for the same amount of time. So let me start with the tea, which is actually the best to use for this brewing process, which would be this one here. And I used Aqua Morelli for brewing this tea, which is one of my favorite waters to drink, which is a very light tasting water. It has a TDS of 39. And you really get the flavor profile like the way the tea should be. And it's very soft, very silky, velvety type of texture. It's a bit of a peach apricot flavor in the mouthfeel. So very, very nice. And you see the color of the tea. And I used glass teacups here, just that you can see the difference in the color. Because the amazing thing is that even I left everything at the same level, the color of the tea is different depending what type of water you use. For the next, and I'm going up the minerality levels here. For the next category, for the low minerality category, I used which I'm very proud of, the local water here, the only spring water in Myanmar, which is Birmani, which has a TDS of 184, so it's in the low category. And when I taste the tea, it's still good. It's not as clean, I would say, as the super low, but it's still, I think the profile overall is still acceptable, and you can still get a good quality tea. And in terms of colors, if I compare this here with the low minerality, it's a bit lighter. It's a bit more, I would say, the perfect color, if we measure with this, is kind of like the amber, and here it gets a bit more lighter. It's a bit more golden with the low, but you see a big difference here with the medium minerality level. And it's not only the overall TDS level. Each water has a different type of consistency, what kind of minerals, a different level. So that also will have an impact on how the tea diffuses into the water. And for the medium, I used Fiji water, and at a TDS of 555. And you can see that it's a much darker color, and it's a much different consistency you see of the Fiji water. If I taste it, you get different consistency. It's like on one side is you don't get any more that smooth a peach apricot flavor, but it's coming out a bit more intense. But in a way, it comes off, and that's, you can see really the influence of the minerals in Fiji onto the brewing process of that particular tea. For the next category, for the high minerality, I've chosen Badois with a TDS level of 1,100, and you can also see that the color again is completely different. It's now getting more into the golden, but in a bright golden color of the tea. And you get now more of a mineral type of taste. You don't get any more the soft velvety kind of like a comforting texture, but you get a lot of minerals coming through. It's almost like a metallic taste, I would say, coming through, but also very intense, and it doesn't remind you on the initial flavor profile we had with 04Mineral. At the super hive, I've chosen Gerolsteiner Stillwater, and also the color. If you compare it, you can even put it again next against the 04Mineral. You can see it's a different profile. It's again a bit darker, so it's not really like going gradually up, but you can see that each water has a different reaction on the way it's been used. And here it's even more now. You just kind of you don't get the soft feeling of the taste of the oolong and with the peach and the apricot flavors, but the minerals are coming out very strong. In Gerolsteiner with a TDS of 2,500, it's really overpowering the tea, and it's not a pleasant experience, and you don't get what the tea master really had in mind. So that's the comparison. Very interesting experiment, just to give you like a sense of the influence of minerality on the brewing process. See you in the next segment.